The big news is that Apple just announced a dividend and a share buyback. Is this good or bad for Apple investors?
This was probably the best thing they could do from Apple's standpoint. There's been a lot of criticism about what are you going to do with this huge cash pile, nearly $100 billion. For investors who need income generation, this is a home run. Apple is now paying out a dividend. This opens it up for a lot of mutual fund and institutional managers who have to invest in stocks that pay dividends. It's not a huge dividend. It's $2.65 a share. The yield is about 1.8%, which puts it middle of the pack in terms of the S&P 500. But the fact that it's now paying a dividend opens the stock up to a whole new investor class.
Traditionally, when companies start issuing dividends, there's always the fear that management's run out of kind of smart and innovative things to do. Does this mean that Apple's a mature company now?
I don't think that's the case at all. I think Apple has so much cash that if they want to make tuck-in small acquisitions like they've done in the past, they have plenty of cash on hand to do this. They're not touching the cash they hold internationally. They would have to pay a tax on that to repatriate it to the US. That leaves them open to make acquisitions abroad. In terms of cash here, they still have plenty of it, even with this $45 billion they expect to spend on dividends and buybacks in the first 3 years of the program. And their stock, at the levels it's at, is an incredible currency, as you've pointed out, in order to make acquisitions.
Traditionally, tech companies have not been dividend payers. Do you think this might lead more tech companies to actually start paying dividends?
I think there's probably still a lot of resistance to it. As you said, historically, the signal of when you start paying a dividend, it's you didn't know what to do with your money. In this case, I don't think that's a signal for Apple, but it still could be read that way for other tech companies. Is it right? I don't think so, but you're certainly seeing that. The interesting thing about Apple's dividend is they're going to pay out more than $9 billion, almost $10 billion in the first year of this program in dividends. That's more than every company in the S&P 500 paid in regular dividends last year, other than AT&T. So this is amazing that you have a tech company that has not been paying dividends, that when they institute it at a relatively low yield is paying a huge number.